The thought of posting this video right now as of me recording this is making me sick to my stomach like you wouldn't believe. But in theme with the topic of today's video, I'm doing it scared. There's been so many times in my life where I've done something eventually that I was scared to do, and coming out the other side of it, I thought, why did I not do that for so long? And I finally come around to the idea that I don't want that to keep happening. So for me, last year, one that springs to mind instantly was buzzing my head. Under this hat and this hood right now, I've got a buzz cut, and I like it. And before that, obviously I didn't. I had longer hair, and I just wasn't happy with my hair. I really didn't like how it looked in photos all the time. Like, I'd go out and I think I like how it looks, and instantly, like a gust of wind, and it changes, and it was just a whole thing. I never liked my hair when it was longer, really. And I put off for a whole year, shaving my head and just buzzing it and going really, really short with a haircut. To most people, it's just a haircut. You probably especially girls, dye their hair all the time, change haircuts or whatever, all the fucking time. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. And it's whatever, they just get over it. They just get through it. And eventually, realizing that just made me come to the realization that I'm only going to know if I like it or not if I do it. And the worst case, especially with a haircut as well, it grows back. I can just wear hats like I am now. I'm not wearing a hat because I don't like my hair. I just wanted to wear this outfit today, so I'm wearing it. But obviously this video isn't about haircuts. It's about doing those things that you really, really want to do. And it can be small personal things, like maybe it is for you getting a different haircut that you've always wanted, or you've not been too sure about getting, buying an outfit that's not really what you normally wear, what you think people will think suits you. Or it can be something bigger. It can be starting a YouTube channel like I'm doing here, starting to post on social media or whatever it is. And I've had quite a few of these times in my life where I thought, holy shit, I'm scared to do this. Ended up doing it, and I don't think it's ever been a bad experience. Or at least the ones that were bad experiences, I don't even remember them. I'm trying to think of some now to give you an example, and I can't. Another good example of a time, though, where me and a friend were scared to do something was starting my podcast. Not this one. This is a bit more of a solo pod. I'm talking about my podcast that I have with my best friend. Everything and Nothing podcast, if you want to go and subscribe. And I work in social media, so I kind of know how it goes. I've been on the back end of many YouTube channels and talked with many creators and stuff like that. It's part of my job, so I have that kind of comfort in knowing how things go and how to deal with the idea of posting something that you're scared to post, or things not going how you thought they would all the time and stuff like that. However, my friend had never posted anything on social media before, obviously Instagram and stuff, but actually as a creator, making something and sharing what you've made with the world, had never done that before. And when it came to the idea of doing it, partly because I was going to invest some money in it, but also just to make sure that we would actually do this thing and not just make one time and give up if it's not perfect, was I asked him, when the idea was brought up, I said, oh, do you actually want to do this? And the answer was yes. And then I let a few days go by when it came to actually buying the equipment and stuff to do it, which you don't need to do, by the way. So I let a few days go past, and I asked again, are you still sure you want to do this? You're serious about doing this? And they thought about it, and they said yes. And so we started doing it. And we've been doing it for about 6 months now, and it's been going great. We love doing it. It brings us so much joy at doing it. And one of the reasons that my friend was scared to start it, and I was partly too, is that thought of, what are people going to think of this? I'm scared that people might say something, might leave a mean comment or whatever it is. But we did it anyway, and we just did it scared. We didn't know if people were going to comment on it, if people were going to like it or not, if people would even listen to it, to be completely honest. But since we've been doing that, all that's happened is either people have said nice things to us about it, or they've just not cared. And I'm talking about social media stuff here specifically, especially the fact that I'm posting this style of video for the first time, and that's really nerve-wracking for me. But I know that for the most part, people will just not care, or if they get something out of it, or they actually end up liking it, they'll probably tell you, they'll probably leave a nice comment, or they'll probably message you, or just when they see you next, say, oh, this is good, by the way, I like this, or whatever it might be. And that's probably one of the biggest examples of when I've done something that I was scared to do, but wanted to do, and it's turned out great. This right now is the kind of next step of that for me. I'm scared to start making these kind of videos, but I have a lot of ideas on what I want to do and how I want the content to be and all that kind of stuff. And with anything, not just making videos and content and social media stuff, it can be anything personal. Going to that place you've always wanted to go to, maybe going on your first solo trip, which I'm still yet to do, and I'm scared to do. That's another thing on my list that this year I kind of want to do. I'm scared to do it. I haven't done it yet, but the reason I'm making this video and I want to make this kind of content is partly just because I enjoy this kind of content. I love podcasts and videos and stuff like The Zerky Show, if you know who that is, or Madeline Argy's Pretty Lonesome podcast. Like those kind of very reflective, somewhat self-helpy kind of videos. And I feel like I give good advice to my friends sometimes on these similar topics. That same friend that I started that podcast with, literally last night I was talking about how I want to make this style of content, but I was kind of scared to do it. I wasn't really scared to make this style of content. I think the fear for me was posting that first one where, especially because this is a sort of vulnerable kind of content, and like thinking of what to make the first topic about. And then I just kind of realized I'm overthinking it. And that is in theme with this whole thing of being scared to do stuff you want to do. 9 times out of 10, you're just overthinking it. All the what if questions you have, what if someone does this, what if someone thinks this of it, what if someone leaves a comment of it, you've just got to think equally, what if that doesn't? What if no one says anything? What if no one says anything except positive things to you about it? Another way to think about it as well is like, if you could do anything with no chance of anything going wrong, or the fears you have about it, if there was no chance of failure, something going wrong, or judgment, or whatever the fear is, what would you do? And I think asking yourself that question really shines a light on what you should do if you take anything from this video and want to stop being scared of doing the thing. This one's probably going to be a bit of a shorter episode than some of my other ones. I don't really know how to round off this topic. I've kind of talked myself in circles a bit. There's probably going to be quite a little bit of editing in this one because it's been very broken in the way that I thought. I'm new to talking about these kind of like self-helpy things in a way that's both engaging and helpful and also coherent and isn't just talking in circles. So forgive me, the kind of self-helpy topics of the content I'm going to be putting out are probably going to be cut up and edited a fair bit to start with, at least. Hopefully just while I get better at it. And that's also like another thing of doing the thing. You're not going to do something perfectly the first time you ever do it. And I think that's also something that stops a lot of people doing something they want to do, because they're like, what if I'm not that good at it? I think I'm talking about creators because I'm making a video right now. So in the example of that, any creator you watch now and you love now, watch their first video, their first 10 videos, their first 100 videos. They're probably nowhere near the level of the videos they make now, but it's because they just did the thing and they just kept doing it. And through repetition and finding out what people liked, what people didn't like, or whatever it might be for you in whatever this personal doing it thing is for you, they improved it and it became probably what they always wanted it to be. But it's never going to be anything if you don't start doing it. And if you have to do it scared, do it scared. There's a saying that I always like, and I think it relates to a lot of things, but it strongly relates to this topic, and that's nothing changes if nothing changes. With that, I think I'm going to round off this episode. I apologize if there's a lot of cuts and a lot of editing in this one. It's actually a lot more difficult than you'd think, talking coherently about like a kind of, I don't want to say motivational, but topic like this one. Basically, half of the content that I have planned are these kind of like somewhat self-helpy, somewhat motivational, God, I hate that saying, type of video. But some of the other ones are going to be a bit more like just reflection and just talking about me and experiences that you can hopefully relate to and all that kind of stuff. A bit of a solo podcast, if you will, if you like that kind of thing. So yeah, if you want to see more, subscribe. And hopefully by the time I posted the next video, you've started doing that thing.